What made you decide to step into this cartel-like situation where so much is opaque?
So I got a cold email from a Dr. Alex Oshmayansky, who's my co-founder. He's a radiologist by trade and a physicist and a smart motherfucker. And he had a pharmacy that he wanted to create a compounding pharmacy that would manufacture generic drugs that were in short supply, because it happens all the time that things aren't available. I'm like, you're thinking too small. We should do something on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
And then it was right around the time they were sending the pharmacy bro, Martin Shkreli, to jail. And so I was reading up on that, and he increased the price of this drug, Daraprim. I think it was like 7,500%, or increased a low-cost drug to $7,500, one of those. And I'm like, well, if he can just jack up the price to this drug and charge more and get away with it, this has to be an incredibly inefficient market. And so the question is, why is he able to do it? And it was immediately apparent that it was a lack of transparency. And so can we start a company that is fully transparent with our costs, our markup, and our selling price, and see if it works? And so we went for it, and it took off immediately. I mean, you read a press release from a company saying, they were creating a cost advantage program, basically pretending to replicate us.
Yeah.
We haven't been in business 2 years. How insane is that?
Did you get a lot of pressure? I mean, I'm sure they're very good at playing games. So cartel type situations, they protect. It feels like healthcare, it's very difficult to get in there.
It does. I mean, and the whole industry is an arbitrage, but we don't work inside the system. We work outside the system. And so we don't work with those biggest companies. The biggest companies with the most dominant control, it's very insulated and very controlled. Like you said, we work outside them. We won't work with them. And so because of that, we don't have access to every medication, because they've told a lot of the big brand manufacturers that if they work with us, they'll take them off their formularies or change the rebate structure so that they won't be prescribed as much. Yeah, it is dark, but we'll get past that, right? Because there's a downstream impact of all this in the rebates and the greediness of those big three PBMs. When you go to a local pharmacy here in Austin, right? And let's just say you have a friend here, right, that is on Medicare or Medicare Advantage, and they go to a local pharmacy and they get a drug that costs $600. Well, in the insurance company, that $600, the pharmacy first buys that drug for probably that price minus 5%, so $570. Then there's probably a copay by the patient, and that's probably $20. So now the net investment that the local pharmacy has for that brand medication is $550. Where it gets really fucked up is those big three PBMs, they're not reimbursing them $550 or more. They're reimbursing them $500 or less. And literally those community pharmacies are eating that loss. And as a result, they're going out of business left and right. And the most insane part of it is, yes, with corporate employer insurance, that happens, but it happens more with Medicare Part D and Medicare Advantage. It happens all the time with those, almost with every script. So the government is complicit in these community pharmacies going out of business. So how does that connect to cost plus drugs and what we're doing and the big brands? The big brands know that if all these community pharmacies are going, tens of thousands of them are going to go out of business because of the way this pricing is, they're going to lose a connection between their brand medications and grandma and grandpa and Aunt Sally. And all that business is going to get transferred to the big companies. And they're going to have even less leverage. So they're working with us to come up with programs that are very supportive of independent pharmacies. And that's going to allow us to break the cartel, because it's in their best interest not to allow them to be so vertically integrated that they destroy the entire community and independent pharmacy industry.
Is there other aspects of the healthcare industry that could use this kind of transparency and revolutionizing?
Yeah. So what we're going to do with our own healthcare, right? We're not going to be in the business of selling healthcare or anything like that or operate. But the things we do for my companies, we're only going to do deals with providers, healthcare providers, that allow us to be completely transparent, so that whatever contracts we do, we're going to post them all. Whatever pricing we get, we're going to post them all, so that every company who's our size or even bigger will have a template that they can work on, which will take it away from the big three insurance companies and the big three PBMs. Because now, without that transparency, they have to use consultants who are getting paid by those big three, those big companies, and aren't giving them the best response. And so now that transparency will overcome that.
And you're using your, how should I say it, celebrity, your name, to kind of push this.
It's the only company I've ever put my name on.
It's weird that people aren't getting into the space, like public people. Like big. There's not like a big. You look at tech. There's like these like CEOs are open and public, and they're pushing the company, and they're selling everything. It's like all transparent. But you don't see that in healthcare.
No, because it's a big business, and most people, like if I was 25 trying to start a company, I'd work in the system, because if I can build it up big enough, they would just buy me, and I'd make money and buy a sports team. But I don't need that money now.